So let me ask you something. If you were stranded in the wilderness right now, no gear, no supplies, no way to call for help, and you found a stream, would you drink from it? Most people know the answer is no. Untreated water can carry bacteria, parasites, all kinds of things that will make your situation dramatically worse. But here's the thing. Nature actually gave us a solution, and it's been growing in forests all over the world for thousands of years. Today I'm going to show you how a simple tree branch can filter bacteria out of water, and the science behind it is genuinely fascinating. This isn't a survival myth. This isn't something someone made up on a camping forum. This is based on real peer-reviewed research out of MIT. And when I first read about it, I honestly could not believe nobody was talking about it more. So let's get into it. First, let's talk about what we're actually dealing with when we talk about contaminated water. The biggest threats in most natural water sources fall into a few categories. You've got bacteria like E. coli and salmonella. You've got protozoa like giardia and cryptosporidium. And you've got viruses. Now, different filtration methods handle these differently, and that's actually important context for understanding exactly what this branch filter does and doesn't do. So keep that in mind as we go. The discovery that makes all of this possible comes down to a part of the tree you've probably never thought about. It's called the xylem. Inside every branch of every tree, there's this incredible network of tiny channels and membranes whose entire job is to pull water up from the roots all the way to the leaves at the very top of the tree. Think about that for a second. A tree doesn't have a pump. It doesn't have a motor. It moves hundreds of gallons of water upward against gravity every single day, using nothing but physics and biology. That system is the xylem. And inside the xylem, there are these microscopic membranes called pit membranes. Their natural function is to let water pass through while blocking air bubbles, because an air bubble in a tree's vascular system is basically like an embolism. It can kill the whole branch. So these membranes evolved to be incredibly precise filters. The pore sizes in these membranes happen to fall in a range of about 20 nanometers to a few hundred nanometers. Bacteria, specifically, tend to be between 200 nanometers and a few micrometers in size. That means the xylem membranes are, by pure coincidence, or beautiful design, depending on how you look at it, merely perfectly sized to trap bacteria while still allowing water to flow through. The MIT researchers who studied this, and this was published in a journal called PLOS One, found that a small piece of pine sapwood, about the size of a standard pen, could filter out more than 99.9% of E. coli bacteria from contaminated water. That's the same standard that commercial water filters have to meet to be sold on the market. Let that sink in for a moment. A stick from a pine tree performed as well as a commercial filter by one of the most important metrics we use. Now here's where we get practical. Let me walk you through exactly how you would actually build and use one of these filters. The first thing you need to know is that this works best with conifer trees. That means pine, spruce, fir, cedar, that whole family. The reason is that conifers have a particular type of xylem structure with those pit membranes we talked about, and they're especially effective. Hardwood trees like oak or maple have a different xylem structure, and they don't work nearly as well for this purpose. So when you're out there, you want to be looking for a branch from a conifer. You also want to use fresh branches, not dead wood. Dead wood has dried out xylem that has collapsed or degraded, and the membranes won't function properly. You want a living branch, something you just removed from the tree, ideally no more than a few hours old. The fresher the better. For the branch itself, you're looking for something about the diameter of a thick marker or a large highlighter. Not too thin, because you want enough xylem tissue to actually do the filtering work. Not too thick, because you want the water to be able to move through at a reasonable pace. Now for the actual construction. You want to strip the bark off your branch segment. The bark itself isn't part of the filtration system, and removing it actually helps improve flow rate. Once the bark is off, you've got your raw sapwood, which is the light-colored wood just underneath. That's your filter. Now you need to create a housing for it. In a real survival situation, you'd use what you have. A hollow tube works best. Some people use a section of bamboo if it's available. Others have used plastic bottles with the bottom cut off. positioning the branch like a plug in the neck of the bottle. If you have any kind of flexible tubing, you can fit the branch snugly inside it. The goal is to force all the water to travel through the branch, rather than around it. If water can sneak around the sides, you're getting unfiltered water in your output, which defeats the entire purpose. To use it, you simply pour water into the top and collect it as it drips out the other end. The flow rate is slow. We're talking roughly a litre per hour in ideal conditions. Sometimes slower, that's not fast, but in a survival situation, slow clean water beats fast dirty water every single time. There are a few really important things you need to understand about what this filter does and doesn't do. I want to be very clear about this because it matters for your safety. This filter is exceptional at removing bacteria. That's its superpower. However, it does not reliably remove viruses. Viruses are much smaller than bacteria, often only 20 to 30 nanometers, and many of them can slip right through those pit membranes. In wilderness settings in North America, viral contamination of water sources is actually relatively uncommon. Giardia and Cryptosporidium, the Protozoa, are much more typical threats, and those are larger than bacteria, so they get caught by the filter. But if you're in a region where viral waterborne illness is a known risk, this filter alone is not enough. It also doesn't remove chemical contaminants, heavy metals, or dissolved pollutants. So if you're near agricultural runoff, or an industrial area, or water that has an unusual color or smell beyond what you'd expect from sediment, this isn't the tool for that job. The best use case for this filter is exactly what the MIT researchers envisioned: remote areas, natural water sources, primarily bacterial and protozoan contamination risk. Think backcountry hiking, wilderness survival, off-grid living where you have access to conifers. Something else worth mentioning is that researchers have also been exploring ways to preserve the xylem, so it can be used after drying. One method that has shown promise is treating the wood with a solution of ethanol, basically rinsing the xylem channels with alcohol, and then allowing it to dry. This seems to preserve the structure of those pit membranes, so they still function after the wood has dried out. This is still being studied, but it's exciting because it could allow you to prep a filter at home and carry it with you, rather than having to use freshly cut wood every time. There's also interesting work being done on using different plant materials. Researchers have looked at other plants with similar vascular structures, and some have shown promise as well. But for now, conifer sapwood is the gold standard for this technique because it's the most studied and has the most consistent results. I want to take a second here to zoom out and appreciate what this represents, because I think it's easy to watch a video like this and think of it purely as a survival trick. But it's actually something much bigger than that. About 1 billion people on this planet right now don't have reliable access to clean drinking water. Water purification infrastructure, commercial filters, chemical treatments, these are expensive. They require supply chains. They require electricity or fuel. They're not accessible everywhere. A filter that can be made from a tree branch for literally $0 using no tools you wouldn't find in nature changes that equation in a really meaningful way. The MIT team was actually thinking about this specifically, imagining a world where communities could build simple filtration systems from locally available materials without any outside supply chain at all. So yeah, this is a wilderness survival hack. But it's also potentially a public health intervention at a global scale. Alright, let me give you a quick summary of the key points so you can actually remember this and use it. You want conifer wood, pine, spruce, fir, cedar. You want fresh living branches, not dead wood. Strip the bark and use the sapwood as your filter element. Create a housing that forces water through the wood and not around it. Expect about 1 litre per hour of flow. Know that this is excellent for bacteria and protozoa, but not for viruses or chemical contamination. And always, if you have additional means of treatment available, like boiling or iodine tablets, layer them with this method for maximum safety. Nature built an extraordinary piece of engineering inside every tree branch, and most of us walk past it every single day without ever knowing it was there. The next time you're in a forest looking up at a pine tree, you're looking at a water filtration system that's been quietly perfecting itself for millions of years. If you found this useful or just genuinely mind-blowing, hit the like button. It actually helps this kind of content reach more people. And if you want more deep dives into the intersection of science and survival, subscribe and stick around, because there's a lot more coming. Thanks for watching.